What? It's my hair massager. What did you think this was? Oh, Kelly K, I see you in the comments making your very naughty remarks.
Grannies are no respecter of race, creed, or sex. Theirs is a harsh, ruthless world. A tough world. A world in which the surgical stocking is king.
Now, Tom Hanks, for me, used to be one of my favourite actors. I went and saw Forrest Gump at the cinema. In fact, every Tom Hanks film, up to 2000, maybe just after that, I would go and watch, because Tom Hanks, he was riding on the biggest wave possible, man. I'm talking surf speak here. He was the big kahuna, man. Like, everything this guy did, turned to gold. You can guarantee, but to me, actually, Tom Hanks, before he got really, really big in the 90s, things like Dragnet, Big, for me, those are like his better movies. And even Bachelor Party, I use that clip at the beginning with him and Adrian Zamed and that beautiful blonde busty female. Tom Hanks obviously was quite happy to get underneath her boobies and smile at the camera. I tell you what, Tom, if you're ashamed of that moment, maybe I'll go back in time and step in for you in that moment, because for me, I wouldn't be complaining about that. But you want to hear, this was on June the 15th, and I was going to cover it then, but I thought let's take a few steps back, and now I'm taking a few steps forward to give you my point of view about this. But Tom Hanks denounces straight actors playing gay roles. We're beyond that now. Are we, Tom? Are we really? Why are we saying that now? And of course, you know what? You got this new generation of actors, Tom Holland included, where they've got different ideologies, Zendaya as well. And while they're not so vocal about it, if you listen to some of the things the guys talk about, it's like, it's kind of verging on that nonsense that the lefties like to showcase a lot, and I really, really hate that. And you got your traditional actors like Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Jon Voight, all these really cool actors that they were trained a certain way, like at Stella Adler School of Training, Stanislavski, all the hardcore stuff. But look, when Tom Hanks says this, I mean, why is he attacking Jared Leto, who played a gay character in the Dallas Buyers Club, and then he played an Italian in the Alsa Gucci, even having a bit of a permatan going on there? So why doesn't Tom Hanks go after people like him? The art of acting is pretending to be a person that you want in real life. Isn't that a common sense line? Isn't that true? This is why actors have won awards since the beginning of the business, for playing roles that allow them to submerge themselves into a character they're not used to playing or haven't played before. That is why it's called acting, folks. However, according to people within progressive left-wing circles, see what I said? People should not be allowed to act in roles if they don't have the real-life characteristics of the person they're playing, unless it's a diversity and inclusion hire. Tom Hanks is sharing that sentiment by denouncing a heterosexual man playing the role that earned him critical acclaim in the early 90s. Of course, I'm talking about the film Philadelphia, where he played, is it Alan Beckett? So yeah, I mean, look, he's got the makeup, he lost weight for the role, he dyed his hair, he lowered the octave of his voice very slightly from what I remember. I saw this film in the cinema back then. Again, I'm not the bigot, I'm not the ignorant, whatever you want to call me, for, you don't like this, you don't like that. No, I've always had an open mind about these things. What I don't like is everything just shoved in your friggin' face now because they feel you haven't gotten the message. Now, it seems to me that Tom Hanks is almost denouncing this role that he's played. Like, if you're so ashamed, Tom Hanks, why don't you just go back to the Academy of Motion Arts and Picture Sciences, or whatever you want to call them, give back your Oscar, do that. Say, like Marlon Brando gave his Oscar back or refused it for The Godfather because he was more of an activist about the Native American Indians and their treatments back then. And Marlon Brando is within his rights to do that, and the man had a few good points to make about that, so I agree. But in this case, look, I was reminded of The Marathon Man from 1976. There's a very famous story that Dustin Hoffman recalls where his character's really stressed out and he's being pursued by people that want to interrogate him. And it's for this one particular scene, he actually had to go running around the block, and then when he turned up in time to get the scene filmed, Laurence Olivier, Sir Lawrence, turned to him and said, "My dear boy, well, what's going on here? Why are you out of breath?" And he's like, "Well, Lawrence, I've got to get into this character, blah, blah, blah." And Sir Lawrence, a Shakespearean veteran at the time, he said, "My dear boy, why don't you just act? Yeah, why don't you just act? Act the fool, act the buffoon, act whatever. That's what acting is all about." A weird virtue signal here from Tom Hanks to be saying that. I mean, Eddie Redmayne, yes, he played, was it a trans person in The Danish Girl? And he's a straight guy, from what I know. So, and again, Ian McKellen, the OG, well, yeah, he played Gandalf, the best Gandalf, the only Gandalf. When you look at Gandalf, he's one of the most bro dudes I've ever seen in Middle-earth. You want to hang out with that guy. He's just got a machismo about him that's very, very understated, isn't it? And I love that. For me, like the Fellowship of the Ring, that's my favorite version of Gandalf, the grey beard, the grey wizard. That's the one I like. I don't know, I'm just drawn to that character. And then Ian McKellen was in that film with Brad Renfro, where he was a Yahtzee sympathizer. And I think it was Perfect Student, or it had something like student in the title. I'll flash it up here just to remind you what it is. But that's a great film, actually. And you can say that character as well had some machismo overtones about him. And of course, Ian McKellen disagrees with this point of view. If you're straight, whatever your origin is, you can play any role within reason. I mean, I can't imagine Chris Evans ever playing the Black Panther, can you? I mean, do you imagine the outrage that would cause? Or if you had a white actor playing an historical black character, an historical figure like Martin Luther King, how would that go down? Of course, it wouldn't go down very well, is it? But then you look at the Japanese film industry and Hong Kong, and obviously the type of films they make is for their people. But I never sit here, and of course occasionally you do see brown-skinned people like me turning up in their films and vice versa. You do see that, but I never sit there. And again, I've got to go back to the childhood thing I've always said. I never sat there thinking, why not see myself being represented? Why? Because I don't give a crap about that. When Mr. T was in the A-Team in 1983, I never turned to my dad and said, "Oh, finally, Dad, we got somebody representing us." It was like, no, this guy's a cool character. I like the whole look of him. Again, that's why I like The Northman, because I didn't have to go to watch a film where I felt really bad because I wasn't being represented, because it's an historical film of an historical time where facts are just facts, right, folks?
Kung Fu Hot Dog. Gary saw Excalibur. It's great. As a POC myself, I was disappointed not to see myself in The Northman, which I loved. Bless your heart.
So if you enjoyed this video today, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you like the like button, because I'll like you back even more if you do that. And on that note, folks, if you were me and if I were you, I'll check out my next video. This boy's on fire!
They finally rest in the warm embrace. God bless you all. God have mercy on us all, and God bless America.
Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog. Your face, your ass, what's the difference?